Hello YouTube, this is New York City Prepper here, coming to you today with a review of the Cold Steel Pipe Hawk. This hawk is a tomahawk consisting of an axe head at one end and a hammer pole at the other end. This is a line of tomahawks produced by Cold Steel, others of which is it's a spike hawk, which instead of a hammer pole has a spike on one end. There's also a rifleman hawk, which is a heavier version of this pipe hawk and a slightly different design for the hammer pole. When I was shopping for this, I was seriously debating between this pipe hawk and the spike hawk, because the spike hawk with a spike on the end is really a devastating weapon. The spike, I've seen spikes, other reviews that show spikes going through metal, going through wood. I'm fully capable of going through bone. So that's if I was using that as a close quarter combat, the spike hawk definitely wins. But the spike hawk does not have quite as utility of a use as this pipe hawk. Having the hammer pole at this end, you can see it's a flat hammer face, allows me to drive in nails, drive in tent pegs, so that if I go camping, I'm not going to have to bring two tools for the job. I can just bring the tomahawk. It has a chopper, and it is also a utility tool. It is also, in my opinion, a slightly safer weapon, because I'll be mainly using this as a chopper. And when I'm chopping this, I really do not want a spike coming back at my head, coming back on my forehead, coming back on my eyes. That doesn't seem to be all that safe to me. So I got the pipe hawk, and I'm extremely satisfied with this weapon. First impression. Well, before I get to the first impression, I want to say that this pipe hawk is legal in New York City. And by legal, I mean that the seller could ship this hawk to you without a problem. That's not the case for switchblades. That's not the case for brass knuckles. That's definitely not the case for any kind of firearms or ammunition. So this saves some complication from your ordering, and is legal in New York City. It's not legal to carry around in a subway, and that's definitely going to raise questions with the New York City police. But if you want to buy it, at least they could ship it to your home. So with that being said, my first impression of this tomahawk is that it is a solidly built, well-made tomahawk. It came with a little set screw at the end, which I promptly removed because the screw really weakens the handle. And after I removed it, I was pleasantly surprised that there is no wobble to the handle at all. This handle is attached security to this head is attached security to the handle, and then you can see there's a little bit of wood shaving at the top of the head, which came like this from the factory as they forced this head onto the handle, and it bit into the handle, creating a secure mount. So I like that a lot. There's no wobble. Some other reviews said that Cold Steel product came with the head was not securely attached. I must have gotten lucky. So this attached very securely. I haven't had a chance to really put this out into the woods and chop it yet. That will be part 2 when I go out there in the field, see how this thing works, chopping wood, chopping some other stuff, just see how it uses in the field. But for my first impression of this hawk, it is a very nice tomahawk. Some of the modifications I did to this hawk is that I put a sharper edge onto this hawk. This is much sharper than the factory edge that came with the hawk. It was kind of average edge that came from the factory, but it just wasn't sharp enough for my purposes. So I took my diamond sharpening stone and sharpened this up a little bit more. But I didn't put a razor edge onto it, even though I think this hawk is perfectly capable of holding a razor edge. Mainly because I'll be using this as a chopper, and I don't want this fine edge to be folding over as I'm chopping wood. The other modification I did was to put 550 paracord around the bottom half of the handle. The main reason I did that is because this handle is very smooth. It's 22 inches of Hickory handle. It's smooth because if you're using it for a thrower, it allows you to throw accurately. But if I'm using it as a chopper, it does not really gives you a good grip. So I put this 550 paracord on there, wrapped it on the bottom half. This cord allows me to give some padding as I'm using this, give some padding as I'm chopping, and also allows me to move my hand up and down depending on what I need. If I need to choke this up, if I need to choke up the handle for some close quarter combat, I can do that. If I need to move down for get some extra strength from my swing, I could do that as well. And it still allows some smoothness, so that if I want to throw this, I'm capable of throwing this hawk, which I will also demonstrate when I go in the field for part 2 of this review. Some of the uses of this hawk. This hawk, for camping purposes, definitely a very useful hawk. You could be capable of using it as a chopper. You're capable of pounding in tent pegs, nails. If you want to pound stone for whatever reason, you could pound stone as well. This hawk, I can see this hawk being one of my main tools when I go out camping. Some of the other uses is home defense. It's a very fast weapon. Even though it has a hammer pole instead of a spike, being hit with a hammer side of this tomahawk is definitely going to cause serious damage. It's not as much damage as a spike, but enough damage so that any intruder that comes into my apartment, into my bedroom, they're going to face some serious trouble. And you can also see that the axe side, of any axe, capable of doing some damage. The other thing that's good about this hawk is that it allows me to choke up the handle. Say I'm in a hallway and I'm close quarter combat. It also allows me to bring down to get more swing to my power if I'm in an open area. It allows flexibility depending on where you are in your environment. Finally, the cold steel pipe hawk would be an excellent weapon against the zombies. We all know the zombies are coming. It's not a question of if, it's more of a question of when. So when the zombie does come and you want to defend yourself, defend your family, the pipe hawk will be an excellent close quarter weapon. Combine this with a knife. I have here my Moro knife. Granted, a Moro knife is not really known as a fighting weapon. I am in the market looking for something a little bit bigger knife to use as a fighting weapon. But this is all I have right now. And the Moro knife does have its benefits. It's a very sharp point, a razor edge. The grip is excellent. It's not going to slip in the rain. It's not going to slip when my hand is covered with blood. You combine this with a tomahawk, and then you have yourself a dual wielding, two-handed weapon, close quarter, that you could chop up the zombies into pieces. So that concludes part 1 of my review of the cold steel pipe hawk. Please stay tuned for part 2, where I'm going to take the pipe hawk to the field and see how this demonstrates chopping wood, throwing, chopping anything else I get my hands on, and take a look at its effectiveness. So there you have it. This is New York City Prepper signing off. Always prepare for the worst and hope for the best.